with a local NGO. It's not local, it's regional, called the ICRISAT. But then I don't work there anymore. I'm right now doing some consultancy. Before ICRISAT, I was looking after the region for BAT, Consumer and Trade Insights. That's where I was for 7 years. And prior to that, I worked in the agency where I did research for clients such as BAT. So that's who I am. And today, I've been invited to speak about anything. But I thought I should speak with you about keeping the growth mentality, particularly in a difficult environment. I know I wasn't here in the morning session, but a lot has been said about keeping a growth mentality, right? Right? Yes. A lot has been said about keeping a growth mentality. But I thought for me to improve that sort of knowledge area, I wanted to extend it to doing so, whatever it is you have been spoken to this morning, in a difficult environment. And I want to challenge a young lady to describe to me what, not necessarily their own experience, but around them, what difficult environment do they see? The mind is bulging with new things to say, but the older generation is not giving you space or room to express yourself. So you are under some sort of pressure. I think that's difficult. I've been there and I think it's difficult. Somebody else?
For me, I think a difficult environment is an environment where there is a lot of stereotypes.
A lot of stereotypes. Try explain it, expand it again.
Like people are having a certain belief that you can't do this, but you know you can do it, so it's difficult.
I see. I think that's difficult too. And I think it's particularly difficult for young people because I have worked with young people in my previous roles, and one thing I know is that these people have a new idea every day. That's a beautiful thing. There is a challenge with it, which I will share later. What's your name? Lydia. Then, brings it out, and I'm glad you bring it out, early enough into my talk. That these people have a lot of new information, they have a lot of new ideas, and they're dying to share it, and they're dying to work it, and to have it operationalized in their environments. But hey, there are stereotypes. That's not how we do things. You guys know, the older generation know that even at work, there's a template for doing a particular thing, right? These people do not, young people, when I say these people, I'm sorry, younger people do not like templates. They like to bust through the boundaries every day. Now, a smart organization does not stop them, and that is a topic for another day. But a smart organization does not stop the young mind from exploring. But then there is a challenge to it, which incidentally, Lydia, is part of my second part, and is part of my talk towards the end. So those are environments that are difficult. But remember the principles of keeping a growth mentality, you still need to apply them. And therefore you need to step it up a little bit when you're in an environment that you would describe as difficult, right? And when I say environment, it could be the people you are with, the place you live, the opportunities you have, the money you have, where you're allowed to go. It comes in all forms, and so you really need to be, to still keep that growth mentality. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is, in a difficult environment, you need to determine your core. When I say core, what do I mean? Do you know? That's what I mean when I say core.
I think your core means your strength.
Yes. Somebody said that you need to train and work out. And one of the things that really gets you moving is the strength of your core. If your core is weak, when you walk like that. And it's true. Mm-hmm. When your core is weak, when you walk, you sort of wobble. Physically the human core is around the midsection, and that needs to be strong. And if it's not strong, at least make it appear strong when you walk. Because when you walk like that, if I were to interview you for a baby role, I probably will, but I'll be looking out for an alternative. You know what I mean? Walk straight. I always told my nieces, because I have nieces who I talk to a lot, I always told them, and especially when they're beginning to grow their breast area, a lot of girls are like that. And it is not good for your It's not good for your back, it's not good for how your image, you don't look good. Like push your shoulders back, straighten that back and walk. Step like you are counting your steps, that sort of thing. That's a story for another day, yet again. So strengthen your core. What I mean here is determine the things that do not change, the things that you're not going to undermine. I'll give you my own example because this comes top of mind because I know I have lived it. A lot of times, young people go for interviews and they say, I really badly want this job. I want this opportunity so bad. And if you ask them, you want it so bad that you can compromise everything? And they say, I really, really badly want it. They have not answered that question, right? So when you walk into a place where there's opportunity, ask yourself, regardless of how much you want and need it, what is it that you cannot compromise? What is it that you cannot change? I said earlier that I worked for the BAT for 6.5 years, thereabouts. And when I first joined BAT, and I also said that I'm a born-again Christian, I was walking with Christ as a born-again Christian, but I wasn't very, I didn't have a personal relationship really. Over time, meeting Betty and people like that, I got stronger in my faith. And increasingly, my job entailed telling the organization why young people are not smoking much. But then it touched my core. Increasingly, as I became closer with God and my faith grew, and that young man was getting into his teen, and he was asking questions. Every time I was unwell, he thought I was unwell because I worked above a factory that manufactures tobacco. So there are things I couldn't compromise. I couldn't compromise the mental health of my son. I couldn't live with the idea of being the one tasked with the responsibility to make people smoke more per day, per hour. And I became very uneasy. And I started praying, and I couldn't get a job that was equivalent or close to the one that I wanted to quit. But eventually something came up. And I checked out, and my boss was, what's wrong, but I was clear. So it's not consistent with my personal values. Yeah? So, like Damaris would say, you're not going to start preaching to your boss and say, Jesus should save you. You are an evil man because no. I went and said, and I hope Damaris did well when I said that this role is not consistent with my personal values. Did I do well? Thank you. So, determine what's your core. Work on your core to make it stronger. And do not compromise your core. Your core might change with time. As time goes, again, another example, when you're younger, I think you say, if a boy talks to me, I will insult them and move away and walk away. A lot of young girls did that when we were growing up, right, Betty? Somebody darted you and you insulted them and walked away, like that fool, who does he think he is? These days, I know you don't insult them, I know. Even if you don't like them, I know you don't insult them, right? In fact, they sort of remain friends, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, as I grow older, I know that even married women still get chased by men, by the way, just so you know, You know that. So you don't insult people because the next day they're interviewing you. So you say it's not consistent with my personal value and walk away. Yeah? So it's not consistent with my personal value is a very, very politically correct way to say no to a lot of things. So please borrow. I borrowed it too. So then the next thing in a difficult environment is, a lot of times when you're in a difficult environment and you want to keep a growth mentality, it is a struggle because you see everything looking down. Like, even if I try, I don't see anything. But one thing that has worked for me over time is you think of the best case scenario, yeah? But then you anticipate the worst. I know a lot of times it is the worst that comes to you first because it is your immediate environment. But think of the best case scenario and try as you can. Try as much as you can to work towards the best case scenario. It helps you keep a positive mind. It helps you keep looking up. Very important. But then, even while you do that, don't be naive. Don't think that best case scenario that I'm thinking every second is what is going to happen. No. Your environment is your reality, and chances are you will not experience or achieve the best case scenario. So remember that there could be a bad case scenario and prepare for it. So you're working towards the good things and you're working towards achieving, experiencing, the best case scenario, but prepare for the worst as well. Yeah, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes. So assuming you have 500 shillings, the younger people, even the older ones, a lot of times you only have 500 shillings. Think what happens if you went for that consultancy for something and you were to earn 100,000 shillings. Work towards that, but remember, if it doesn't come through, you still have your own 500 shillings, right? So be ready to live within the 500 while you work towards the bigger figures. So what I mean when I say write down all directions, yeah? So when you're in a difficult environment, to keep a growth mindset and to remain positive is to think of all the possibilities, make a plan around what you want to do, and keep to the plan. This is a weakness that a lot of young people have. And I've worked with them, they have worked under me. And so I know that one thing that happens is you make a plan nicely because you're from the Confidence Elevates workshop. You have become a better young woman, so you go and make your plan. Halafu kitu inatokelezea. All plans dustbin. You live once. You know that YOLO thing? You can't YOLO yet. Surprise. You cannot YOLO yet. Not yet. Yes, indeed, you live once, but you cannot live as if it is YOLO. I'm sorry, I might be busting some bubbles here, but the truth is, you don't have what it takes to live just once. You have many chances. You have choices to make. Please make the right one. Write down all directions, everything you plan to do, and stick to the plan. Then the other thing that I think would contribute to keeping a growth mindset in an environment that's difficult is to learn perseverance. Now, perseverance is the one thing that I struggle with, I confess. Who else struggles with perseverance? Me. Tell me how you struggle with perseverance. You. No, you can't show it. I know. I saw you using your phone, that's why.
Yeah, I struggle.
Do you struggle?
Not really, but I used to, but I want to, because I was not a patient person, but I had to learn to be patient.
Nice. She is alert. While she's on her phone, really, she's alert because she has used one of the words that I wanted to use. You need to be patient. You need to be patient and know indeed that if you stay on course, good things will happen. You may not realize the exact thing that you're looking for, but trust me, and this is my next slide, you will be a better worker, you will be a better person, you will be a better professional, you will be a better daughter, a better son, if you can persevere, if you can say that this is a situation that I'm experiencing now, but it is going to pass, and therefore I will stay on course. The opposite of somebody who perseveres is somebody who quits. When things don't seem to be going in the direction that you want, you quit. Then there is time management. Once you make a plan, a lot of times you spend too much time on your first slide like I'm doing now, and then you rush through the next two. Right? It happens. You need to organize your time so that you don't feel, when all is said and done, that you spent a lot of time preparing and making plans, but you couldn't quite execute it. It's like going into an exam paper and you do a lot of quick notes to help you respond to the questions. But then because you spend too much time making short notes, you don't have enough time to write them in an answer sheet. You know that happens, right? So manage your time. Manage your time and borrow from what Damaris said earlier in terms of time management, when you start, what you do, when you move forward, and allocate a certain amount of time on each activity, prioritize so that you manage your time properly. I can't belabor that. It is a life lesson. It's not just, in the growth mentality context. So the other other thing that a lot of us fail to do is to take lessons. When you're persevering, it means that there is a certain negative stimulus, right? It means that there is something that's not happening as you hoped, right? Hello? You had me. What did I say? No, I said perseverance a few minutes ago. I saw you talking, that's what I called you. Anyway, so I'm saying that you need to take lessons. When you're persevering, it means you are hardening your core. They say that somebody who has been through difficult moments, when they persevere and come through, they are tougher. They are more experienced. They have a harder core. They know 1 or 2 or 3 new ways not to do it next time. They know their friends when things are not going well, right? So persevere and become a more grown person. When I say grown, I don't mean age-wise, but be more learned, right? Take lessons. When you don't have money, when you have money and you have friends and you're going everywhere, clubbing, buying things, eating right, posting on Instagram, you know, buying the latest makeup and everything, you have a lot of friends. And then things slap and you don't have money. And where you thought money was going to come from is closed. There's no money coming from there. Suddenly, as a young person, and I was at the university, so I know it happens. And it happens everywhere. They begin to step out because they're looking for other people with money, right? So that is lesson number 1. The person who sticks close when things are tough, the person who supports you when you're persevering, the person who lifts you when you're looking down is the friend, right? We know that already. But if you don't stop to take lessons, next time you get money, wale wakora wengine watarudi. And you will allow them in. So please, I can tell you, don't allow them in. But not allowing them is not going to them and telling them, no, I know what you guys did to me last time, but these boys who talk like that, and they don't even look many times, sorry man. But you need to know who to engage to what extent later. You need to then begin to segment your friendships and know who is in the inner circle. You need to know who are the fair weather friends and who are the rainy day friends, right? So take lessons. How to spend your money better next time. Where to go. With whom? If you don't take lessons, the English language calls you a fool because it means you're not learning. And there are good and bad lessons. Please take both and make use of them. Yeah? So, and within this environment, if you make a mistake or fall short of your goal, I can't belabor this. You may think you have failed, but truth is you have grown. Right? Right. Are we together? Yes. I know are we together is used to be. Yeah. Okay, so life for young people is very overwhelming. The right ones. Ask yourself questions that require you to think. Which is the best way to use my 200 shillings? Is it to buy me I'm already tipsy, I'm at a club. Is it to buy another one shot of vodka to kill me quickly? Or is this the one that I'm going to use for a cab back to my college room? Important, the choices that you make and the questions that you ask yourself. Yeah? The other thing is chronic hand raising. Do you know what that is? It's, you try just a little bit and you say, this is so difficult, please come and help me. Then you try again. What is this? Think. Don't be lazy to think. Most people here are ladies, and if there's anybody, and I've raised a boy and a girl, if there's anybody that needs to think in this life, it's a female human being. If you're not thinking, the world will collapse. Because your counterpart thinks just a bit. Yeah? So please think, avoid chronic hand raising, because if you keep getting help with every step, it means your core is not getting hard, right? The way that people grow fit and build muscles is because they keep doing it. They push 500 meters, and the next time they do a kilometer, and the next time they do 1.5. They do not start with 100 meters and call the trainer to help them move the next 50 meters. It doesn't work like that. So avoid chronic hand raising, try and fail, build your own, know one more way not to do it next time. Yeah? And celebrate small wins. Life is difficult. Don't wait if you're in college until you're graduating to have a good time. Yeah? So if you do a CAT, continuous assessment test, and you seem to be improving, get a friend of yours and have a coffee. CQ4 is not. Yeah? Celebrate small wins at home. When your little brother, who has been scoring only 30% in English, suddenly brings in 50% at the end of the term, take that boy for a packet of chips. You know what I'm saying? Do you get me? Celebrate small wins, because otherwise life is too tough. It's too tough, especially when you still have all these choices as a young person. You don't know where to pick. So and you will fail many times. So do not miss the opportunity to celebrate small wins. And another reason why it's important to celebrate small wins is because it is your celebrating process. And a lot of times, it is not the result that necessarily matters, but process matters, because process builds character. Process builds a person. You grow in character, your core gets stronger, you know what not to do next time. And because process counts, when you win within the process, celebrate them. All right? Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about on this slide, I'll move very quickly, is grit. What's grit, somebody? What's grit? A tough environment can toughen you so that anything somebody says, you say, chana na hawa, hawajuangi. Anything the pastor says, sasa nataka kutuibia. Anything the employer says, wana sisi mnafanya nini, mnakula pesa. Anything the hairdresser says, it doesn't look good on your head, why are you putting it on me? Anything is a problem. Stay grateful, because a grateful mentality is trained to see positive things, right? And when you see positive things, that you dwell in positivity, you become a positive person, you become pleasant to be around, you speak positivity, and people want to be around you, and then the right people want to be around you, and then you are used to success, and then you succeed, and then you share it right back, and the circle continues, the circle of positivity. Are we together? Yes. So let me talk about grit, because it's my favorite, and I'll be very quick. So staying the course is so important. We can spend a whole day and talk about this the whole time. Yeah. So the first thing I want to say, especially for the young people, is that it can be very difficult to pick a lane. Your lane can be, there's so many lanes, you don't know which one to pick. And a lot of times, even for us who are a bit older, truth is, we found ourselves in a lane, then we decided, Papa Unico, I'll work here. If life ever gives you the opportunity to pick a lane, pick it early. Be sure as a young person that you're picking the right lane within your ability. Are the younger people here struggling to pick a lane? Do you know what I mean by picking a lane? Anna, I'll challenge you to tell me what it means to pick a lane. And I'll tell you what does it mean to pick a lane?
I think it means picking something that you want to do for a long time, that for the rest of your life, that you're good.
Okay. He says, and I agree, to a big extent, it is simply saying, what do I want to be? What do I want to be known for? Why am I here? What do I want people to say about me when I rest? What do I want? Where do I want to work my? Do you know how you say, I can never be a drug trafficker, for instance? You are saying that's not your lane. A lot of people know what they can never be, but they do never say what they must be or what they want to be. So early in the day, start thinking. And as you grow older, lanes will become fewer and fewer. Short list as you go along. A lot of it will be, what subjects am I doing well at? Other things will be, who do I relate well with? Other things will be, when I'm in hospital, am I always disgusted? In which case, can I be a nurse? Something like that. Narrow down your choices and then pick a lane. Hey, get a mentor. You are in this program for that reason. Get a personal mentor to help you determine what your lanes might be. And be open to feedback, because let me tell you, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a nurse. Celine Handa wanted to be a nurse. By the time I was in class 8, I knew I can't be a nurse. So that lane was out. The reason, incidentally, I wanted to be a nurse, and my father challenged me early, and he said, why do you want to be a nurse? Because he knew I get irritated very quickly. I've learned over time. I'm easier. I used to be very edgy as a younger person. And if you are young, if you are edgy, really, can you be a nurse? Somebody has opened a rotting wound. I start asking you questions. How did it get rotten? I don't want to, you know. So because of your character and the things that please you, the things that excite you, what you're doing well at schooling, those things can help you shortlist your lane, you know. So grit is being a lane and working it until you reach a certain goal. So because life is long, short and long, and when you're 15 or 20, you don't know whether things will change by the time you get to 50. But remember, the lane you choose can expand, right? It doesn't mean that if you start as a clinical officer today, for instance, in the professional area, that you will end up at 60 as a professional officer. Really what you're choosing is medicine and the medical practice. You can move from that level to being a doctor, to being whatever you want to be within the medical profession. Not so. Hello? Yes. Am I talking too much without? You hear me? Yes. You hear me? Yes. You hear me, ladies? Yes. So have seasonal or sort of segment the results you want by what you are doing within your lane. So you know by the time I am 16 or in another 5 years, I want to have gotten my degree in 1, 2, 3. I would like to have gone to this and that place to see how they do ABC, you know, that sort of thing. So within your lane, set some certain goals, yeah, and stay on course. So I'm saying here that this level of commitment and focus brings up all unconscious limitations that need to be healed. So when you're on it, there are some pains that you will feel, so you need healing there, or things that you know that need to be integrated with others so that you can realize the result. And it leads to building real soul stamina, resilience, and character. I can't say that better. The more you stay on course and work it, and set goals within your lane, and meet them, and set new goals, and meet them, you become a more resilient person. You become a more focused person. And you develop character. And character is also related to what I was speaking about earlier, about perseverance, about call. They need to say at some point that, hey, they need to say at some point that, Evelyn, you want that thing shortcut. Evelyn is not in your team. She does not take shortcuts. That's character. And when you consistently project a certain behavior, then you are known for that sort of thing. And character is not easy to develop in an environment where things are changing, where you know, my shoes are old, but that Instagram picture, they must look new. I'm telling you because I know social media is a big deal for the young people. Yeah? And I'm not saying that you go and show your worst. No, project your best. But then determine what's best. New shoes are not always best. They pinch like hell. And I'm using figurative speech here. I hope you understand. Yeah? And why must you post that picture today anyway? Wait until the day you have a better shoe on your foot and post. Kwani? Munalipwa kila siku? Nobody's paying you to post it every day, so it's okay. You know, post. But don't be so compelled that if you don't, people think, it appears the blame yesterday did not have bundles. It's probably true. But who cares? Who has everything they need every day? Nobody. Surprise, nobody. Nobody has everything that they need every day, and that is the flavor of life. So as you work your lane, developing character, there are things in you that will need to be healed. There's information and some nuggets of wisdom that you know that will need to be integrated with others, and that is why you need to talk in groups, discuss in groups, share ideas, integrate the things that you know in your experiences, and see new areas of knowledge arise for your good. Yeah? So this, when we follow every shining object point, yeah, and switch back and forth when things get difficult, or when they are boring, you will never develop character. You'll never ever develop character when for you, every environment must be exciting, every job must be well-paying, motivating, opportunity for career development and all that. You'll never develop character. You develop character when there is something that is not going the way that, you know how they say that, life happens, it's just how you react to things that will determine how you move. You've heard that, right? It's almost cliche, but it is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. That how you react to the environment will determine how far you go and will determine the kind of person that you become. Yeah? You see boxers being, you know, when they're training, they are boxed on the tummy a lot, right? Why? Because that is the area that needs to be strong, because that is their core. So if you get boxed all the time, but you shake your head and say, hey, you're in Kwabumu, lakini, you know that sort of thing? You become a strong girl, you become a strong young man. So that as you grow up and a guy tells you, hey, when I was seeing you on WhatsApp, I thought you were light-skinned. Man, you're not, and so, sorry. You don't go and commit suicide, eh? Because guess what? That's just another blow. Move on. But develop the ability to say that's just another blow. If suddenly you wonder, I also thought you were tall. So, that's what I'm using these examples because it's important. When I grew up, I had so many insecurities. I can't tell you enough, but that's the topic for another day. Yeah, that's the topic for another day. I can tell you that you need to develop character, which is on your core. Your mother needs to say, ukiona Evelyn hajarudi sahi, ni gari inamsumbua. I know she's not somewhere under the bridge with a certain boy, for instance. Your mother needs to say that, and your mother needs to go to the chief and say, my daughter is lost, and the chief will say, unajua watoto siku hizi wanapoteanga. When you say, no, she needs to say, no. Evelyn hakui kama hivo. Oh, my Swahili is a bit wanted, but you get me. She's not like that. There must be a problem with my daughter. And a day down the line, they realized that, yeah, you know, Evelyn was actually in trouble. You need to be that predictable to people that matter. Your boss needs to say, if you give Sylvia that work, you can be sure you'll have it before the weekend. That sort of thing. Yeah? All right, so when we only thrive where there's no difficulty, without evolutionary process, you can't change, you can't grow. Yeah? So it means we have no momentum. And let me tell you what I mean here by momentum. Momentum is something that keeps you going. Something that keeps you going. And so that, let me give a good example. So for instance, okay, so because you have a lot of different experiences, good and bad, difficult and challenging, you're rolling down the road of life with something on you. You've developed character, you're still a bit confused because you're a young person. And with these things, you grow, your mind opens, you're open to new ideas, yeah? So if you have that momentum, it means that anything that comes to you, a new stimulus, maybe you lose your job. As you begin to work, eventually, as you move on within your momentum, you lose your job. It then becomes part of life experiences. It then becomes part of the challenges that people experience, rather than, when you know I don't have a job, I am dead. You know how we say dead, yeah? Truth is, you're not dead. You have other experiences from your previous life and previous interactions that then you can leverage and say, hey, but I know people who did not have jobs for a period of time, but then they survived because they did 1, 2, 3. So what I mean here by momentum is you need to have experiences that you can leverage in your difficult times. Leveraging means something that you can claw on, or something that you can load on, or something that you can refer to in this context. Yeah. So you need that momentum to leverage in your difficult moments. The other thing that following shiny, easy objects denies you is capacity for deep creativity and innovation. You know how when you're walking in high heels, and then suddenly a heel breaks. But my cousin says that's how the big ladybird was invented. Because you see a lady in high heels. If they're driving, there are some sandals in the car. If they're not driving and they have a biggish bag because something there is a way out. You know, that sort of thing. So the reason why that innovation came up, and that's a loose example, and creativity is because you know that things can go wrong sometimes. You're not just thinking, tukitoka hapa, in another 20 minutes we'll have driven, we'll have arrived, you know, that sort of thing. So you need, you know, you need to have, you know, that level of innovation to be able to stay on course. So sustained focus. I have perhaps touched on it as I've gone along, but sustained focus means that you keep your eye on the ball. That's what they say loosely. Keep your eye on the ball. If you determine your lane, you need to keep the eye on the ball. And this, they say, is the key distinction that separates achievers from non-achievers. Because the non-achievers stop when things get hard, or when they get bored, or it no longer pays as much as it used to, or younger people came to the industry and now they are quicker, that they quit. That is what a non-achiever does. But achievers stay on course until they reach the finish line, no matter how hard it is. And that is, again, takes us back to the perseverance, to developing core, developing character. Extremely important as you grow up. So to fulfill your potential, because everyone has potential, determine the lane, set goals, manage your time, develop character, stay consistent, yeah? But you require courage, you require strength and willingness to back the trends of human thinking.